Hello kids, welcome back to another week of LEGO Club. As you know, we've been going through Exodus, and today we're going to be going through the part I'm certain all of you know. The parting of the Red Sea. You know the parting of the Red Sea, but do you know why it was parted? We're going to be covering that today. We're going in Exodus 14, verse 12 through 28. We told you in Egypt, leave us alone. Let us serve the Egyptians. It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die here in the desert. Moses answered the people. He said, Don't be afraid. Stand firm. You will see how the Lord will save you today. Do you see those Egyptians? You will never see them again. The Lord will fight for you. Just be still. So while the Egyptians finally caught up to the Israelites, the people were panicking. And Moses is just saying, Be still. God will protect us. And so God responds in verse 15. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, Why are you crying out to me? Tell the people of Israel to move on. Hold your wooden staff out. Reach your hand over the Red Sea to part the water. Then the people can go through the sea on dry ground. I will make the hearts of the Egyptians stubborn. They will go in after the Israelites. I will gain glory for myself because of what will happen to Pharaoh, his whole army, his chariots, and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. I will gain glory because of what will happen to them. Now, this is basically God saying, you know what I can do. You know what to do. Just go. Trust me, I know exactly what's going to happen. And this will be for God's glory all the way. The angel of God that had been traveling in front of Israel's army, now he moved back and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front of them. Now it stood behind them. It came between the armies of Egypt and Israel. All through the night the cloud brought darkness to one side and light to the other. Neither army went near the other all night long. Then Moses reached his hand over the Red Sea. All that night the Lord pushed the sea back with a strong east wind. He turned the sea into dry land. The waters were parted. The people of Israel went through the sea on dry ground. There was a wall of water on their right side and on their left. So, not only did God have a plan, he was already working on it with the pillar of cloud and the pillar of flame. He knew what he was going to do with every piece of the puzzle, even the most small and insignificant, it would seem. Things that you think would already have served their purpose. The Egyptians chased them. Verse 23. All of Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. Near the end of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud. He saw the Egyptian army and threw it into a panic. He kept their chariots' wheels from turning freely. That made the chariots hard to drive. The Egyptians said, Let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for Israel against Egypt. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, Reach your hand out over the sea. The waters will flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen. So Moses reached his hand out over the sea. At sunrise, the sea went back into its place. The Egyptians tried to run away from the sea, but the Lord swept them into it. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, covered the entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the people of Israel into the sea. Not one of the Egyptians was left. God had a plan to beat an unsurmountable army. There was no way the Israelites could have beaten them on their own. But God fought for them because he made a promise to them, and he saved them from nearly insurmountable odds because of his power and his grace. He took something that clearly should have been lost and turned it into another victory. Now, there's two lessons to be brought from this, and I think they're rather simple. That God is not done with any of the pieces in his puzzle until the day they come back to him, and that every piece in that puzzle has a use for God's grand plan to save all of us. If you want this week's lesson and instruction book, or any week prior to this, please join us at www.mzumc.com.